The votes have been cast back up. We are going to build a medieval farming community, and for that, we're going to need a special tool. It's a diamond hoe. Yep, it's enchanted, all right. Unbreaking 3 and mending. Why am I an idiot? G'day, folks, it's Cortezerino, and this is not the Diamond Society. Never fear, guys, we will get back to the Diamond Society soon, but right now we're on my old single-player world that I haven't played since 1.10. It's been a long time, but the reason we're here is because this is where I've actually built a farming community before. I never really finished it. I got tied up with the Diamond Society and was having so much fun. I haven't been back here, but I keep this world around because one day, you never know, we might be in between seasons and I'll come back and do a bit more. But speaking of being in between seasons, for those of you that used to watch me way back in the day when I had this single-player world, I actually did a bit more building between Season 1 and Season 2 of the Diamond Society. And I don't think I ever showed it on camera because Season 2 started and I just got wrapped up in that, so why not show it now? So I did a bit of a bridge up here. I was planning to build a bit of a town on top of this plateau. And I did a bit more work on the castle. Not a ton. It's still very incomplete. But I think I finished the inside. So I've done the front entrance and done a bit of a balcony here. And we'll just duck through the window. I think this room is 100% complete. Oh no, it's not. Nah, still a lot of stone here. But, you know, I did a fair bit here and, never really got to show it. That looks pretty good, actually. I'm quite happy with that. One day, guys, we may finish the castle. But, this is what I want to do for my farming community on the Diamond Society. Not exactly this, but you can definitely see my style of building rustic farms. It's very overgrown, very rough. Oh man, I've got to get a screenshot of this. I love this thing. This is an unused old millstone. So basically, you would have a piece of wood running through this wheel, and it'd be tied up to a horse, and the horse walks round and round circles, crushing the grain in that little groove. We'll get a screenshot of that because I may build the same thing on Season 3 because I love that. So it's very unused since the family built the windmill. They've got no need for this, so it's overgrown. All the wood's rotted away. So this was a Dutch-inspired windmill, and I got a Dutch house there. But we're going to be building a farming community in the medieval area, so I won't be going for this type of design, I don't think. Plus, that's a huge windmill, and the spot I've chosen to build my farming community, I don't think I want to build that big because I have other people around, and if I start building huge like that, and if they don't build huge, then everything will look out of proportion. But yes, I might get another screenshot here because I love these paths. Although I may not go for path blocks in this one. We'll see. Over here we've got a water mill. I'd love to do another one of these, but I think I will do it differently than just having the wheel sitting in the water. I'd love to have the water flowing over the top of the wheel. That'd be cool. And we got a lot of custom trees here. I'm very out of practice doing custom trees, but that would be fun to try. I think I have got a tutorial for doing these willow trees, so I might look that up, and perhaps we'll do a few of those. And right up the back here, we've got our vineyard. Now, I will probably do a vineyard on the Diamond Society, but I can do it a lot better than this. This is a tiny one. And I've got all these vines in dead straight lines. I can do better than that now. I would mix it up and wobble them around a bit. Anyway, I think we've been here for quite long enough. Let's head back to the Diamond Society and I'll show you the spot that I've picked to build. So here we are in the medieval area, back on the Diamond Society, and over there is where Leowen is building his huge castle. But I want to build just over here, and you can see I've started way up in the distance there, because this is a nice plains biome in the middle of the medieval area, but, well, it's not in the middle, it's kind of on the edge, but I like it because it's close to Leowen's build, but it's sort of around the corner of the mountain and far enough away that I'm not going to interfere with any of his plans, but it will fit in with his build really well, because a big castle like this is going to need farmland to supply the food for all the pretentious people in there and all the poor sods in the village. He may be knocking the village down, I don't know. But way up there is where we're starting the farm, and we're going to creep it closer as we come, because we've got some rivers around here. If I'm going to do a water mill, we might want to fit it in this area somewhere. But let's go have a look at what I've done so far. And I've built a much smaller windmill there, like I said before, just so in case he builds at the scale of this village here, it's not going to look too out of proportion. And I've started putting a path in. I've just done a gravel path here, a bit of a road, but from looking at those shots of my single player world, I think around the windmill I might change it to the same sort of path block texture I had in that other one. I've managed to keep the road nice and curvy here. What I find is, like, this bit's a bit straight. If I'm just not feeling it and I can't get the path looking right, what I usually do is I build a custom tree right in the middle of the path, and then I force myself to go around it, and that usually works. So, yeah, just a normal sort of gravel path, but up here I've flattened out a little bit of an area, because where you've got a windmill, you're going to need somewhere to store all the grain and the hay, and you'll need a house for whoever's running the place. And I grew up on a little farm, and wherever you've got a little farm, no matter what you're doing, at least in Australia, there's always a veggie garden, there's always a few animals around as well, maybe a few fruit trees, so it's not just going to be a wheat field, there's got to be a few other things to make it realistic. Now, I've actually spent a lot of time here. Not that you could really tell. We've got one windmill, and I've done a tiny bit of wheat fields up here. With that, when you're tilling earth to start planting wheat, it is an absolute pain when you're doing big fields like this, because there's no water source. So you till the earth, and the ground immediately turns back, so you can't plant on it. It is a lot easier to do when it's raining, so I'm kind of doing other builds, and as soon as it starts raining, I come out here and I start tilling earth, because the earth stays hydrated. So we've begun that, but I've spent a lot more time here than you would think, because I've been terraforming. When I first got to this hill, it was just a mass of caves and little pockets of water like you see down there. So I've just been evening out the ground. I've taken a couple of levels off the top of the hill just so it's not so extreme, and with all the dirt that I had left over, I've made these slopes a bit more gentle. Oh, it's raining! Oh, now is the perfect time to till earth. Oh, okay. We'll finish this up and I'll start tilling. This windmill, it's a really cool one, but I kind of cheated. I didn't just come up with this. This is a windmill design I did for a replay mod tutorial, and I thought, well, I've already designed the windmill. I'll just come and chuck it in here. So it's my signature sort of windmill, using banners for the sails. I think it looks really cool, but I've got to stop doing it because all my windmills are starting to look the same. I think we can change it up a little bit better. But what I want to do next is, before I go too nuts with the fields, I want to do something in this flat area. So I think what I want to do is a little farmhouse. Now, I have a lot of problems building, just building from scratch. Like if I started to build a little house here, it would look like rubbish. What I usually do is I get onto Google and I try and find a picture of a little house that I like, and I use that as a starting point. But I don't need to do that here because I've got the windmill as a starting point. So whoever built the windmill will have also built any buildings around here. So they are going to build in the same sort of style. So I'm going to use the frame of this as my base. And it's a pretty simple frame, so I'm just going to grab some materials and actually I'm going to till some earth first and then we'll get working on the house. Okay, so I've just sort of been mapping out where I think the road's going to go. I've curved that way too much. But we're going to curve up around this direction and then up to the windmill. So I think right here would be a good spot for the house. So it's right next to the road and we're looking at the windmill. Only problem is that over there is east. So I think really the windows for a house should be facing in that direction. Should be facing north and south so you get the sunlight during the day. But, you know, let's just pretend that we don't know about that because I don't want the house facing in the same direction as the windmill because that would look a little bit silly. So to start the house, to give me some sort of starting point, I'm just going to build the exact same base that I've got for the windmill over there. And that way it's going to match that design. So I don't know exactly where we're going to start. Let's start about here. The windmill base looks like that. Is that too? No, that's good. That's a good distance from the road. So the base of the windmill, the support pillars look like that, but to make it a house, we'll just extend it a little bit. And yes, just a nice little quaint house, something like that. Do I like the size of that? Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. That gives me a bit of room to build maybe a storage silo just over here behind the house because it'll be taller, so it'll raise up behind the house, and then maybe some trees out here just to finish off the whole area. But anyway, I'm going to quickly build this up a bit to match that one and we'll see what it looks like. Here's the question, do I do double windows or do I do little ones like that? Oh gosh, I'm not sure. The little ones kind of look cool, but the big ones kind of make a bit more sense. I don't know. I'll come back to that. So I've got a little bit done. It's basically the same bottom of the house as the windmill is over there. But I've also got those stone pillars right at the base of the windmill. And I think the same kind of thing might look good here. I need a crafting table. Let's just make some stairs. So the windmill one looks a little bit like that, I think. How high up do we go? A little bit higher. So we might just do that at the entrance and then we can do a little roofy thing on this, and I feel that it should be made out of cobblestone just so it doesn't blend in too much with that. Let's jump up there. Have I got any dirt? Yes, I do. So we'll build it up like that, and just for something a little bit different, I don't want all roofs to look the same. We might do it just nice and simple, no fancy thing on the top. It's just a little farmhouse. It's not going to be fancy. And then the rest of the roof, I think, will face in this direction. So I'll just quickly build that one up. I really should light up the area, at least for while I'm building. Every time I sleep, it's a creeper love fest out here, although I'm not seeing a whole lot of them at the moment. And they were, oh no, he despawned before I could shoot him. He's the smart one. Alright, any more? I think we're pretty good this time. Okay, so the farmhouse is coming along nicely. Just a quaint little build, but we've got a roof on it. It's a little bit plain at the moment. I think we need something just to stop it looking a bit too boxy. So I think I want a little bit of a covering here so we can stack hay bales and stuff in there. So I think we're going to do it. I've got to not hit those buttons. So we might do it about there. And have I got any fences? Yes, I do. We'll probably do something to hold it up. We might do a double one. And, what am I doing? There we go. That's not looking too bad. Gives us something a little bit different in the build, and I can stack a few things in there. That's a little bit close. The eave of that roof is touching that, but I think that looks alright. Alright guys, I'm going to quickly run around and finish this up, add a bit more detail, put all the walls in, and then we'll start getting to work on all the paving around the build, because that's what really brings a build to life. Even once this is done, it's just a building sitting on grass. It's everything you do around the building that really sells it. So I'm going to stop recording now, and we will come back once I have done a ton of building. You know, one thing I find doing videos for YouTube, I can spend a lot of time editing videos and designing things on creative, and I never really play Minecraft anymore. At least that's what it feels like. But this build is getting back to basics. I've done a grain silo up the back there. I figured that out on creative, but everything else, because it's all based on the terrain, it's all survival building, and it's great fun. I've been at this for days and days, but I had to say, go away grass, I had to say stop. We've got an episode to get out, so this build is far from finished. For one thing, there are a ton more fields yet to go. I've got a lot more tilling and planting to go, and haven't done a single custom tree, but I'm going to be doing lots of them, especially around these little ponds. A lot of trees here, just breaking up the my little bushes, fences here, so it should look a lot better once the custom trees are in. But these fields are going to cover this entire area and run into another family doing some other kind of farming up there. But let's run up here and show you what I've done. So I've put in my broken down millstone here. I love that thing, and it looks really good. Gives a reason for the path to scoot off in this direction really quickly. And I decided to put my fruit trees in over here because I've built a well, and I was very careful to, because the well is a structure that would have been there for a long time. It would have been there when the millstone was there, so I made it just far enough away that the horse would have been able to walk around in circles pulling that millstone. If that well had been too close, it would have been a bit silly. But I put the fruit trees here because this well has the same kind of roof as that grain silo over there, and it looked a little bit odd as you're approaching to have the two roofs right there, so I've put the fruit trees in just to cover up the well a little bit. And then that gives us something new to look at as we come around the corner. This grain silo, same sort of style as the windmill and the house, and I'm using that for my storage at the moment. So I might end up, can I fit another portal in here? I probably can. Maybe that will be a portal room so I can get out here nice and quick. So I've just been, I've got these fruit trees in rows actually. It doesn't really look like it, but just bendy little rows, so it mixes it up a bit. It looks a lot better that way. And I've just done a bit of work on all the paving around the place. And what else have I done? A couple of fields right out the back here. Oh yes, we've stocked this up with a few little goodies. Haven't really decorated the inside of the house. I've done a tiny bit. I don't think I'm going to do too much on the insides, just so if you look in a window you can get a bit of a picture of something going on in there. But I've done a little veggie patch. Whoa! That scared the bejesus out of me. Someone's killing the dragon. Wow. I might have some game sounds turned up a little bit too high. For the video, I will turn that down. That was a shock. Okay, we've got a little veggie field in here. Now I've put coarse dirt in around the tilled earth here because I didn't want them at the same height. But this is a spot where I think I really need podsol. The coarse dirt doesn't work that well, But until the world border comes down, I'm not going to be able to get my hands on that much podsol. I've got a little bit, probably about 5 or 6 blocks, but that is not going to cut it. So I'm trying it in rows, and we'll see what it looks like when the podsol comes in. But at the moment, that's what it looks like. And I've got a few little compost bins up the back there. And I've started working on another field here, and we're going to have another one over there. We're going to have fields everywhere. And then around the edges, custom trees. So it just makes a nice little border around the place. But I think for this episode, guys, that is about it. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember, we are not done here. There is a lot more to go. The farming community I did in my single player world took months and months, and I've only been at this for about 4 or 5 days. So this is a project we will be coming back to, but next episode we are back at the tower to see what else we can figure out. So cheers, I'm Cortezerino. See you later. Alright, backup. What are we going to name the most powerful hoe to ever grace the Diamond Society? No, I'm not calling it Larry. Don't be silly, mate. I know you don't like the hoe, but don't make fun of it. No, it's a powerful tool. It's got to be called the Earth Crusher or the Sod Buster. I'm not calling it the Sodomizer.